thought of as a heavy favorite. Of course, you think about, like, you're strong, but you can never, never underestimate your opponents.
Yeah. And speaking of that, game number 1 of this best out of 3 now kicking off. We have Pompeo on the top. It'll be BernsteinCat on the bottom this time around. You already see a couple of cards being played, including that Gravedigger as well as the Tombstone that was put down by Pompeo, but it's killed off. Of course, one of the buildings that we're going to see in this matchup. Buildings great in their own right for taking aggro, if anything, a lot of these bigger creeps that have to be played, of course, with the intention of attacking the tower. So you see right there the Tombstone block on the Hog Rider. That's one of the uses of it.
So the minion was just rolling through the left side, not really getting any damage out, and then they're shifting onto the right side of the map, already spawning a couple of horde units here, and maybe Bernstein can actually find his opening here. Maybe just a bit of extra damage thrown out there with the goblins. Just a few hundred there.
Yeah, certainly some pressure being able to be brought from Pompeo, though. I'm looking at that deck that he has created. The Tombstone, not only a good blocker, but of course it's constantly spawning those skeletons. And you see right here now as he throws out the card of, what are we looking at there? That's the guards, I believe. Yeah, the guards are going to march down, 2 on the right, 1 on the left. And he also has that Mega Minion flying down on the right-hand side, too. But the Hog Rider doesn't care, but there's that Tombstone. Pompeo's ready to react specifically to the Hog Rider.
Yeah, that was actually a really quick reaction there with the Tombstone and the Hog Rider coming out. Like, quickly focus that down and halt that offensive there. Now, there's a dragon heading right over to the other side. A bit of damage by Pompeo.
Those miners, good for just getting that damage in. You know, at least 2 or 3 auto attacks ideally you're happy with. So Pompeo, overall, I think somewhat satisfied with that miner. Not necessarily expecting big damage of it, but
all the Electrowaves are still alive as well.
Yeah, just barely there. Oh, here we go, the Mega Knight coming down. This is a difficult unit to deal with. Lava Hound in reaction, though, from Pompeo. So both players playing a very costly card, 7 elixir, in fact, for either one.
A lot of units coming on both sides now, but that Tombstone very well placed. That you got these slow units just lumbering towards it instead of going straight for the tower. But then again, a lot of damage onto that tower too. 1200 health still remaining on that, and a huge mayhem just breaks loose.
Pompeo had the reaction for that Mega Knight. Now here comes the counterattack. The Lava Hound killed, but again, it spawns the couple of minions after the fact as well. That Inferno Dragon also plenty of tanky. Now he's using the Tombstone aggressively here, also defensively because the Mega Knight going down. He wants to bring off aggro. Of course, the Hog Rider in the front lines too. But this is going to be some good pressure for Bernstein. Getting some nice hits in. This tower could be falling though. It is going to stay alive as we're going into sudden death now. But that was a ton of pressure for Bernstein.
So both players are sitting on very high elixir as well, so they're just trying to time on how they're going to send big units or just horde units and just mass out the big attacks. But all that Bernstein needs to do is just get 700 damage. That's not even that much that he requires.
You see the Hog Rider going behind constantly, so the Tombstone yet again taking some damage. Snowball trying to delay, but the Mega Knight, he's leaping in. This is going to be a big hit. Gets one more auto attack. Yes,
there you go.
For BernsteinCat, that Mega Knight. It just didn't seem like Pompeo had enough of an answer. Tombstone's good, but with that and the Hog Rider and the Mega Knight, that is, they kill it quickly.
Yeah, too much damage to deal with, like 2 big heavy units and only having like small answers, but not something that like, decisively just destroys those 2 units and maybe launch a counterattack right from that.
So we did get confirmation, by the way, as well, to let you guys know. The players are allowed to switch decks on the fly as far as in between every single game, even if it's a rematch, as we saw in the last series. There happened to be that tie game. In game 2 it was. They replayed, and well, both players ended up switching their decks. So they literally can play any set of deck that they want going into each game, and it makes it that much more, I guess, strategical almost, because you really have to prepare that much better if you're a player. It's that much more difficult, you can argue, if you're a player that likes to react to the other decks. You don't really have that option. You kind of just have to play a deck that is good against a lot of decks, I guess, or just play your own game because you can't really worry about what they're doing.
True. Like, you need to have a good combination of versatility, but also your own spice to it, or the way that you play the deck.
Yeah, exactly. And I believe I heard the sound, the go-ahead of, in fact, here we go, game number 2. Once again, players on the same side, and the Prince immediately coming down for Pompeo as the Ice Golem in response for BernsteinCat.
That Rider's probably going to make it all the way.
Yeah, you see the poison play from Pompeo. That's definitely a new card we haven't seen so far today, taking a little bit of damage on the tower. Good placement there, but counterattack coming through.
Well, at least Bernstein manages to fend off that attack.
A couple of spells. So he has a poison and a lightning. Or that's
interesting to have like 2 of them.
Yeah, that's what lightning is. That's the zap. That's the mini lightning, you could say. It's essentially one jolt compared to the 3 big lightning bolts that is applied. But yeah, it's quite shocking, you could say.
Definitely. I mean, I'm wondering, does he have like a third offensive spell? Like, does he have a spell still with these two? And then again, there's another dagger, another miner. Actually, Pompeo's the one getting the damage in on these early seconds.
Yeah, that could be deceptive though, right? In a game like Clash Royale, there are players that as long as the tower's still alive, I mean, you're good, right? So it's there as a resource. You know, players talk about this all the time for different card games. Life is a resource. So if that means taking some chip damage earlier on, if you're BernsteinCat here, I don't think it's the end of the world for him. He understands, okay, there's some early pressure, it's fine. Know that as long as the tower's still alive, you know, that's what matters, right?
Yeah. Good use of the miner there, this time not going all the way to the tower, but instead intercepting one of Bernstein's units.
Yeah, I'm trying to see. Pompeo still has one more card he hasn't shown. So he has to be holding on to one currently in his hand. And is it going to be that big, you know, something like a Mega Knight, the Golem we've seen as well? Perhaps when I wait for the 2x Elixir, we'll see soon.
Yeah, now we've got a lot of units coming from Bernstein.
There it is, it's a Giant.
But the Giant's coming on the left side, and he's hiding, actually, most of the units, just following him around.
Yeah, that was a defensive Giant, it really was. So it's not going to make it to the tower, I don't believe, but it de-aggroes. And so I really think that was a defensive Giant from Pompeo there, but now we know he has a Giant. There's still 2 cards. In fact, there's a Snowball being revealed from BernsteinCat. None of the towers necessarily going to be taking too much pressure right here, but again, there's still now one more card to be exposed for BernsteinCat, but he knows what he's up against Pompeo.
Still a pretty 50-50 situation, even with the double elixir running for the last half a minute, still 20 seconds, and none of the towers can take the down hit.
Very interesting to me, not consider myself an expert by any means, but Pompeo using that miner very defensively. I've noticed a couple of times. The fireball comes out there, but there's a Giant on the right side now with the Electro Wizard behind, and the Mega Minion to follow. The Ice Golem defense, Snowball, and a Prince being played.
And he got the Giant through.
It's going to get through, maybe an attack, maybe 2. Poison? Okay, a couple of attacks.
Almost gets the 3rd hit through. Just dies before he gets that 3rd hit in. So only 800 health remaining on the right side tower. And another 3 minutes for the overtime. So that could be the opening for Pompeo, but is he going to try and make a little juke move on the left? I mean, obviously Bernstein knows that this right side is in peril, so he's going to put a lot of pressure on the left side.
That Prince though on the right side, it's going to get a hit in. That's on the 192. Can he save the bandit? No, he cannot. Pompeo takes it. That was a distraction on the left with the Giant, the Mega Minion, etc. And he just wasn't ready for the Prince on the right-hand side. That was very well played by Pompeo.
He didn't fall for it. He sees that massive unit swarm coming from the left side, frozen the Giant, but he already had his Prince on the right side of the map and just goes completely through without anyone interrupting his movements and just goes straight to the tower.
That's what you expect from these top players. I mean, it's all about the reaction. That's what so much of this game is about, of course, and trying to throw your opponent off guard, especially when that 2x elixir kicks in. And we're tied at 1 apiece, and I can't say I'm surprised in a matchup like this. We just saw BernsteinCat take the first series, I want to say fairly decisively over Nicholas 2-0. Pretty comfortable victory for him. But Pompeo, again, one of these favorites, been talked up a bit going into this event, coming off of a loss, on the verge of going 0-2, but at least he ties it at 1 apiece.
Yeah, he pulled himself together. Now I'm really excited to what's going to happen here in the 3rd map.
I like this idea that we have no clue what's coming. I was a little unsure about that feeling. I was like, I want to be able to prepare and have these decks in front of me, but I kind of like that we're in the dark with you guys at home, and what the hell are they going to be playing? I mean, we're figuring out eventually, and you saw that Giant, last minute, and it's one of those for the player, too.
And the late Snowball reveal as well. Like, you've already shown everything else except for your one card. And let's go. 3rd map here.
Hunter versus Musketeer to start. Hunter, of course, good for the AoE clear. Musketeer, more single target.
But we're seeing in this series, like, every map so far has started with instant spawning units instead of waiting for the elixir to start massive.
Yeah, well, unlike the first game, they both waited.
That was something different.
Times. Yeah, something tells me we're not going to see that much, if ever again, but that was a unique start for sure. Nice skeleton. This seems like a very fast deck so far from Pompeo.
Yeah, very low elixirs as well. 2 units, 1, 2, and 3, and now he's actually getting himself a air balloon unit there, so maybe he might get some damage on the right side. Oh, there's another Hunter. Quickly to respond to that.
Yeah, well, those balloons are difficult to deal with. Hunter is a way, the Snowball to push it away, so the bomb, I believe it's going to be in range still. Yes, it does deal damage to the tower, and you see with the miner, he gets a good amount of damage over that left push.
He's going to have to play defensive here and answer Bernstein going on the offensive on both sides, and the Hunter on the right, but that left side tower is just being demolished here, and it's going to go down.
Oh man, beautiful protection on Sparky right there. The bar barrel as well as the Dark Prince in front. Bernstein completely catching Pompeo off guard. He was not ready for that aggressive push. Look at that damage from Sparky.
Doesn't get quite the second hit off, but that was a massive amount of damage. And nothing to answer to that.
And you look at what Pompeo's dealing with right now. He doesn't have the best building hitters. He has the balloon, but that's not necessarily something he wanted to defend against Sparky. Sparky going on the right-hand side. He still has 2 more cards. He needs something like that Golem, for example, or Hog Rider, or Giant.
And he's low on Elixir as well. So he might even actually lose this tower if he doesn't get the decisive units right now. But the double Elixir kicks it just in time.
Yeah, that was an interesting placement with the Dark Prince right there from Bernstein as he gets the hit on the tower with the 2 times Elixir, but it went behind Sparky. I don't know if that was a misplay or maybe intended, but either way, Sparky is killed off. But again, like you said, he still got the damage up. But here comes the counterattack from Pompeo.
4 units right on the right side just quickly get zapped away. Actually, that was
lightning.
Yeah, the lightning flare, yeah, exactly. But 30 seconds.
Bernstein feeling good right now. He just needs to defend. Both players still have a card to reveal. What is that final card from Pompeo? Will it make a difference?
Is that going to be like a high elixir unit that we're going to be seeing here? We don't know, but he doesn't really have the time remaining. It's not on his side, and it's called it. It's GG. There's nothing he can do about this. The Sparky was too much.
Yeah, so I guess we're not going to find out which the final card was for either side, for that matter. Both of them playing with 7 cards essentially right there, but big victory for Bernstein, and you could just tell, man, that Sparky's quite the powerful unit. Obviously, you got to build around it too, but I do think it helped that it didn't seem like Pompeo had an answer, and sometimes you just get countered like that. So Pompeo unable to stop Sparky, and Bernstein is 2